Open bay. The one place that people underestimate. It doesn't matter if you was in an open bay dorm, a butterfly building, or a T building. Prison is prison. Your life is at stake no matter where you lay your head at. In this video, I'm going to break it down, speak to y'all on the experiences that I went through, witnessed, and visioned at my stay in Florida Department of Corrections.
Hold down, man. Suitcase this, my cell phone and my charger don't walk with a limp. Get it knocked off or missing, you gon' get it. Next time I see you ass, you gon' leave airlifted.
What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Kfrogtv, man. Y'all go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button and make sure you hit that notification bell so you can see it first. Alright, so today I'm going to be speaking on my experience when I was locked up in Florida Department of Corrections inside of an open bay dorm. A lot of people been asking me, what's the difference between an open bay and a cell? And, there's 101 differences, So for this video here, I'm going to break it down. I'm going to speak on it most part, and I'm going to tell y'all how it was with my experience. Because when I first got to prison, they didn't have cameras. And then I was there when cameras got put in and everything. So I was there before cameras and with cameras. All right, so for the most part, when it comes to these open bay dorms, a lot of people get it twisted. They feel like, because that ain't no cells, that shit ain't rocking like that. It don't go down over there. Y'all got that all the way confused, because it definitely goes down in open bays, just like it goes down in two-man cells. Whether it's a T building or a butterfly wing or open bay, it goes down, okay? Down here in the state of Florida, we are not segregated into different gangs or different levels to where, this yard might be ran by all people who have max charges. This pound might be ran by people who got, minimum charges. Or this over here is for the people, pedophile. We are not put together segregated like that. We're all together, okay? So it doesn't matter if you got a year and a day or if you got 15 to 30 years, 40, 50, a life sentence, you will be placed with that same person, okay? Now, when it comes to being in a two-man cell and, as far as your bunkie, being, to where, you're actually qualified or where y'all are compatible with each other, there's different reasons for y'all to be compatible. It may be like your weight, because you can get a bunk pass, a bottom bunk pass, if you're over 200 pounds. If you weigh 200 pounds or more, you can actually put in for a bottom bunk pass to where you get a bottom bunk. So you may get put in a cell with this one dude. You have a year and a day. You weigh under 200 pounds. So you could be put on the top bunk with this guy who is a lifer that has a bottom bunk pass. But there's no other place for you to go because you got to go on the top bunk. Or vice versa. The only cell that's open that actually has an open bottom bunk for you may be someone that has a way higher charge than you have. Okay? So now, for the most part, we have custodies as far as minimum, medium, max, closed, stuff like that. But it doesn't mean you are not together. Okay? So, anyways, back to this, this open bay shit. So, while I was in open bay, it actually went down. We didn't have cameras. So, people get, hit up. People get beat up daily in there. A lot more things go down inside open bays than they did in the two-man cells where I was at. Just due to the simple fact that when you're in a two-man cell, you only have to deal with your quad and all the other individuals when you were outside of your cell. But open bay, you're around people 24/7. Okay? Y'all share everything. Whether it's the bathrooms, the showers, the sinks, the water fountain, the TV, the tables, everything is being shared in there. So it's more like y'all are more, on each other, in each other's face 24/7. Behind the cells, don't get me wrong, it goes down 24/7 too. A lot of people, refer to be in a cell rather than an open bay because you ain't got to deal with people. You have more privacy. You do not have that much privacy at all when it comes to these open bays. Now, when you want to go to the bathroom and you want to, whether you got to take a shit or you got to piss or whatever it may be, and you were in a, an open bay, all you'll have is 8 little toilets with little mini walls. So when I sit here and take a shit, you're right there on the next one taking a shit. You see? So like you have no privacy at all. The way it's set up is to where there's 8 toilets. So when someone's sitting on the toilet like this, in front of them is 8 sinks. So there's people standing up dead ass in front of you, a little ways away, brushing their teeth. On the other side of those are 8 sinks facing them. So you have people facing you that are brushing their teeth that can see you when you're going to the restroom. And then behind them, you have the mini wall. It's like a half wall with 8 shower heads where you shower, you know, right next to each other. Everybody gets in the shower around the same times, you know. You rotate and everybody calls, hey, I got next on that shower. You know, and the way they do that is when someone's in the shower, you walk in there, hey, bro, hey, someone get after you? Nah, all right, let me get after you. Or you put your shit on the wall, the half wall, you put your towel, your boxers, your soaps, shampoos, whatever it is you're going to use, right there to let them know you got next on that shower. There's 8 of them and a handicap one, which is like a bench for people who are handicapped, so they can sit down and bathe instead of standing up like everyone. Man, allow me to rap, man. If I'm finna go in, fuck it, man. I'm finna go in for giving y'all a tour of my dorm, man. You feel me? What it is, Bob? On the view? What it is, Bob? What I'm talking about? Thievery set.
What's up, guy? Who? Cat 2. Cat. Hey, all living in the chain.
Nigga like playing with too many knives, man. He likes wetting people up for no fucking reason. Cock is crazy as fuck.
To me, you know, it's always better, you know, being in a 2-man cell if you ain't really, you know, if you ain't got shit going on, you know, to me, because a lot of them 2-man cells, you know, don't have reception like that when it comes to jacks having cell phones and shit. You might get put in a dead zone quad to where you literally cannot get reception. So open bay is more lenient. They literally, like, you know, the officers, you see them at all times. When you were in them 2-man cells, you know, when you have that jack in the damn dorm with you and inside your room, when they bam that door and it's time for lockdown count, there's nothing you can really do. There's only so many spots inside the cells to hide the jack that the officer's been known about for years. You know, every cell's the same. To me, when you're in open bay, you know, you have too many people in your business. You know, there's no privacy, but it's more like open. You know, here it comes 11 o'clock. You know, when it's 11 o'clock at night, you know, in the 2-man cells, everybody's locked down in their room for the night with the lights out. You know, in these open bays, you get to walk around. You walk to the water fountain, get a drink if you want to. You know, you see all the little cherries lit from everyone that is smoking. You know what I'm saying? And shit like that. So I had a good time when I was in open bay. It was easier for me to get, you know, away with certain things. There's so many different people, you know, so many different hold down men. Whatever it is you may have going on, there is someone there that is willing to do something for you. You know, whether, you know, they might be hungry. Okay, you want a job? I got you. I'll feed you. Okay, they might have a habit. Okay, you want me to supply your habit? You want a job? I got a job for you. You know, like, as far as it goes, it's just like that. But the only thing is, when you're in that open bay, one person actions can get the whole, you know, dorm shook down. You know, like if they smell smoke, they'll come in there and hit the whole dorm. You know, the 2-man cells, when you're in the 2-man cells, you're accountable for whatever's in your room. So if your bunkie gets caught with something, you're both going to confinement. That's just how it is, like in your cell. So like as soon as you get there, if you find out your bunkie's hiding a banger in there, they're going to take both of y'all to jail. So you're better off knowing what's in your cell than not knowing. You see what I'm saying? So don't get me wrong, a lot of bad things and a lot of violent things do go down in 2-man cells, but it does go down in open bay as well. Now, when I got there, all they had was the officer booth that's shaped like this. The officer sits in this cube like this. And then on this side, he's got side 1. On this side, he's got side 2. So he's got to look this way and this way. And he sees the quads. But then when he looks forward through the glass, there's a wall and then a day room and a day room. So he sees both TVs with the split wall. He sees both TVs where everyone comes in the day rooms. And then he sees, you know, that dorm and that dorm. Now, when it came time to fighting and everything, the only thing they had was when you first walk in through the doors where the phones are at. If y'all seen on Kfrogtv Volume 1 where I phone check
this nigga, man, straight up.
No.
When you first walk in, the officer station's right in front of you. They had a big mirror right here on the corner that reflected into the bubble so they can see the reflection of the whole dorm. Okay, so all we had to do before was walk in, you know, someone on the other side, you could sign them through the glass and get the officer's attention. And then they'll knock on the thing, on that window in the quad next door, so the officer looks, and then they'll open the flap, hey, Sarge, you got a request form? Can I get a sick call, request, whatever it is? And then when the officer turns and goes that way, now you're on that side to do whatever it is you got to take care of. Which for us, when I was at Calhoun, we jumped up on the first bunk and we turned the mirror so it didn't face the long wall. Because there's a wall shaped like this is the dorm, and then you have a wall and then all the bunks that go around it. The officer station's right here. He can't see along the side of that wall from where he's sitting at, so they got the mirror to help him. We turn the mirror, and then someone stands right there by the water fountain, like looks in the officer station, when really the fight's going on. You see? And then that's when you get in the paint and you get off your chest, whatever it is you got to get off your chest. Okay, but now they installed the cameras, okay? Which, that ain't preventing nothing anyways. It ain't slowing nothing down or anything. It just means more people are actually getting caught and going to confinement. Now, I've seen so many vicious fights inside the open bays. People get wet up to where they literally rewind the cameras and then they go and find the person who did it. You know, and that's how it is. Now, when you walk out these open bays, there are blind spots. When you walk out the door, like whether to go to chow or anything like that, it is a complete blind spot, no cameras. You're going to learn where the cameras are on the compound. You're going to learn them for your safety, and you're going to learn them for, you know, your, whatever it is you do, just, you know, you're going to want to, you know, have shit figured out so you know how to get away with shit. So, but my whole stay, when I was locked up in the open bay, my experience, I had goods and bads, okay? A bunch of my fights I got into was inside open bays because, like I say, it's like a big old soap opera. Like everybody's in everybody's business. See, when you're in them two-man cells, you know dude, you know bro, you've talked to them, but you're only going to really know them if you physically speak to them, okay? You could be in the dorm with someone for 6-7 months and don't know shit about them or their story or nothing, but you've been in the dorm with them. When you're in the open bay, you learn all that. You know everything that's going down. When something touchdowns on the pound and it hits that quad, you know it all from being in open bay. You know, so I don't want people to think because some of my footage is in an open bay that, oh, that shit's watered down. You know, a lot of people say, oh, that's a level 2 yard. We don't have levels down here. But best believe we are not segregated. So all the gangs and all the different races and all the different beliefs are all thrown in together. So whatever you stand for, he stands for, and I stand for, it don't matter. We are all going to be in the same place. And where I was at, everybody was toting bangers. So you best believe all we know is rock out. So that's what it is, you know. When I was at Charlotte CI, on a daily, people were getting wet up. Open bays, two-man cells, it didn't matter. Getting wet in the face, all types of shit was going down. They come in, they shake down the dorm, they search the laundry cart, they find pokers, all right? Literally, the good thing about them open bays also is if they find something under abandoned bunk or under the bunk next to you, you know, they can take you to confinement if it's under the bunk next to you, but it isn't in your assigned bunk area, so you can kind of beat that. You might go to confinement because the officer knows you had it. You know, they'll rewind the cameras and shit like that, but really, it ain't gonna stick in the long run because, you know, that's not your bunk. So, you know, literally you can put something in a pair of boots and walk by and stick the pair of boots under a bunk. Now, they may rewind the cameras to see who put them there and all that shit. But then, you know, if you're smart enough, you just have someone else do it. Hey, bro, go stick these boots right there under bunk 3. You know, and then they come through, shake down, they looking and shit like that. Like I said, when you're in open bay, it's everything is a whole. Y'all are together as a whole. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, and you get away with a lot more shit. Well, everybody, it's count time, so everybody must get on their bunks. Let's see what the fuck they got going on.
Fuck that. We ain't here for not following the rules, bitch.
As you see, y'all, it is count time. Fuck wrong with that cracker, man. Turn around, get them on candy camera. Ain't got one on this side, man. That's how we rock Kfrogtv. You know, but there is a lot more fights, okay, to me. Because behind this, you know, behind the 2-man cells and shit, whether it's a butterfly dorm or a T building is shaped like a T. It's got like a quad that goes long ways, a hallway, one hallway this way and this way. So it's like that and like that. And all it is when you walk down it, there's cells and then there's stairs upstairs. So it's shaped like a T. 1, 2, 3. Okay, like that, and the officer station's there outside of the quad, and he's got to watch all quads. He's got to watch that one, this one, and that one. All right. Now, the thing about it, when it comes to the 2-man cells, though, you know, a lot of people be trying to, you know, when it comes to arguing and shit, there's fights a lot. There's fights on a daily behind the door also. But them doors save a lot of people because people are always expecting the next person to be clutching, you know, expecting the next person to up some iron or something. So 9 times out of 10, say there was 10 incidents, out of 10 incidents, about 5 of them ain't gonna go as far as it would have because everyone's expecting everyone to have bangers, you know. But when it comes to the open bay, everyone gets into shit daily. It doesn't matter what gang you're in. Literally, when I was in there was fights every day. It was always something. People robbing each other, extortion, making people make beds, you know, making people break it off, walk by someone's bunk, drop a canteen bag on their bed, and they'll be like, oh, hey, excuse me, you dropped this. Man, I ain't dropped that. You know what time it is. Hit that window. Like people literally physically putting down, breaking into people's locks, you know, and shit like that, you know, because you're on your own when you're in open bay. Literally, you are on your own. 2-man cell, someone breaking your shit, they just disrespected your bunkie too. That's his house also. See, both of y'all own that. Both of y'all have that cell. That's 2 people's house. But when you're in this open bay shit, people were getting their heads split when I was there just for getting off on the wrong side of the bunk. Because when you get off to your left, that's your front door. That's where your locker's at. If you get off on this side, that's the next bunk's front door. So you have a back door and a front door. You see what I'm saying? And some places, you know, they don't really take that shit serious, but some places do. You know, because to them, you're on their porch. You get what I'm saying? That's like you're on the streets and someone just comes and walks through your porch whenever they feel like it. You know, shit like that. So a lot of people also, you know, were getting their heads split when I was locked up because they would go to smoke their tunchi. They go smoke their tunchi and everyone's cut. You know, you don't want no one coming smoking near your bunk, especially if you have a jack. You don't need that attention. You don't want them to see it on the camera and then they come search that area because they seen people over there smoking and shit. You see what I'm saying? So you got to hold your own in an open bay more than you do in a 2-man cell because you have a bunkie. If he respects himself, he's going to rock out with you about that room. No one's going to come run up in that room and rob you because people are killing people. You see what I'm saying? So when it comes to that, you know, 2-man cell shit, to me, I feel like it's dangerous and all, but there's some leniency also. There's some there's some shit that prevents things from happening. In open bay, it doesn't matter. People rob your shorts, your gym shorts. When you go to take a shower, you put your shit on the wall, you go back out there, come back, your gym shorts are taken. You fucking anything. People will rob you for toilet paper. They'll rob you for an equal pack. Something as small as just an equal. It doesn't matter what it is. Anything that someone wants, even bowls and spoons and shit. Someone will take your spoon that you ate off already and go in there and wash that bitch in the and you know, like a lot of thieving stuff goes down inside of open bays as well. And like I said, we are not segregated. The only people who were segregated differently Inside of prison and any other places I was DOT, which was Department of Transportation, which is the inmates that work outside the gate. They were actually placed somewhere different, because you're not going to have people that go outside the gate 24/7 around all these people that cannot go outside the gate. You see what I'm saying? Now, there's even ways around that. Like me, I got placed in the DOT dorm, but not one time was I eligible to go outside the gate. You see? So, but the way that worked is I was signed up for education. So when I was signed up for education, you know, it made it to where I stayed in the dorm. There was like 5 of us for education that stayed in the dorm with DOT. The whole DOT went to work, so it left me in the dorm all day. It's crazy. Ain't nobody in this shit but me, dog. Got the whole house to myself. Davey with it. Feel me? So it's like, there's ways around it, you know, don't get me wrong, there definitely is. But when I first landed in prison and I first got locked up, the first thing, you know, when I went to South Florida Reception Center, there wasn't, it's its own little quad. It's kind of like a butterfly building, kind of, but it's shaped differently. You know, I ain't never seen nothing the same as South Florida Reception Center. Like, I can't explain it. It's not a T building or a butterfly wing. You know, it's got its little catwalk up in the air when you walk through. It goes through all the dorms, you know, shit like that. And then from there, you know, my first dorm I actually landed in when I left was an open bay. When I was traveling through Orlando, Lake Butler, I got put inside G dorm at Lake Butler, okay, which was an open bay dorm. And that's when I seen, you know, how it is and shit like that. And everybody's in everybody's business. That's how it is. Everyone's in everyone's business, and shit goes down a lot, you know. When I first got put in G dorm at Calhoun, I seen 6 people jump on one dude, wet him up, like literally, because he came in with a $150. They wet him up, ate him, got him up out of there. You know, they thought he told or whatever. Found out he didn't even tell. He ended up getting out of the box, wet up and all, like 3 months later, and got put in another dorm on the other side of the compound. They did all that for nothing because he got wet trying to defend someone and got cut in the mix of it in another camp. But, you know, above 50, that's considered a red flag. That means, like, bad business. They police, they steal, they mess with boys. They, you know, they got X'd out. You never know what it means when they get cut in their face like that. You know, there's always something behind it. That's how it was. You know, that was the message behind the cut. But for the most part, my experience inside of open bays, it's like I said, it's ups and downs, because I got away with so much shit by being in an open bay. And anyone will tell you that lives in a 2-man cell, and I don't want to go to that shit. I don't want to be around all them people. I like my cells, but you can't really do what you want to do in them cells, because when it's a shakedown, they're coming. You, like I said, you only have a handful of places to hide shit, you know, and they already know them all. They've been doing this shit for years. But them open bays, there's so many different things. Like, they could do 5, 6, 7 shakedowns, and you could still have the same jack. They're harder to be found, you know, and you find the ropes, and you figure it all out yourself, and you know how to get through with it. You feel me? So that's basically, you know, how it is in the open bays or whatnot. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this one up. I appreciate y'all tuning in, watching this video. Like I said, y'all hit that like and subscribe button. I got another video coming for y'all. I'll probably drop it tomorrow, if not the next day. And that was my experience when I was inside an open bay while locked up in Florida State Prison. I appreciate y'all watching this, man. Frog.